Hey, everybody. Going live again tonight. Want to follow up on what I did yesterday. So, yesterday, obviously, I got into data why I thought the market was going to increase in 2023. Then we're going to have a little micro burst here. And I just wanted to follow that up and give you markets a target. I did talk about some of the markets that got hit. We'll review a little bit of that tonight. Um, but I wanted to give you some data. It's going to be a short, this is not going to be a long one, right? I'm not going to do this for more like 20 some minutes like I did yesterday. It's probably going to be more like a 5 minute stream here, but I want to give you some follow up information and give you some data. And I will do a screen share to give you guys that info here. All right. So looking at the data, where people are moving, because this is super important. If you're investing, you need to know where people are going, not where they're leaving. You want to know where they're leaving from so you can get away from that market because that's falling knife. You want to go where people are migrating to and find out the reasons why people are migrating to those areas. It's going to always be more than one reason. There's usually going to be multiple reasons. Biggest thing is age, right? If they are baby boomers and are retiring, they're going to go to the Sun Belt. Second would be jobs. Third would be schools. You're moving your kids, better area, different area, better school district, wherever you think that be, whether it's local or different state, depending on what you choose. But anyway, let's get into the data and we'll see where the population really increased. This is 2022, and you can see Florida was a big winner by a lot, 318,855. I saw that firsthand. Market up 30-some% for a good bit of the year in different areas, whether it's Miami, Tampa, Sarasota, many other areas around too as well. Texas, obviously number two, and for good reason, right? It's still not really the Sun Belt per se, but lots of jobs, lots of industry, lots of reasons to move there. Good place to raise a family, good school districts, great football, all kinds of good reasons to be in Texas. I like Texas. I was close to moving to Dallas, Texas area. And before I decided to go to Florida, but that was my secondary choice. My third choice probably would have been Tennessee. I do like the Carolinas, but you'll see these are rounding it out here. North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia. Now, why? Let's talk about these top 6 markets here. Why are people going here? Well, let's look at it. Zero income tax state, zero income tax state, zero income tax state, right? So you got a lot of zero income tax states here. Low income tax states, low cost of living, the Carolinas, same with Georgia. Arizona is a little more expensive. Again, Sun Belt, retirement area, Arizona, retirement area, Florida. Carolinas, also retirement areas. Georgia, also retirement area. Tennessee can be, depending on what you want your lifestyle to look like. No, there's no ocean, but there's lots of Great Lakes. You got the Smoky Mountains, great hiking, great lifestyle, great food, all kinds of great things going on in Tennessee. And that's why it's going to continue to grow. Lots of business going to Tennessee. Lots of business going to Arizona as well. Much lower income tax California. A lot of people move from California, which of course is dead last on this list, lost 343,000. And New York. And what do these states have in common? Besides the highest income tax in the country, which is driver number one. Driver number two, politicians want to control them, control their lives, control every aspect of their life, and people eventually get sick of that. So same thing with Illinois, New Jersey, Massachusetts, go to the Northeast. Surprising, Louisiana, lost population there, but again, not a whole lot of business in Louisiana. Not a surprise that Maryland, Pennsylvania, where I was from, Virginia, all these losing people. Midwesterners, people from Minnesota and Michigan, a lot of them moved to the west coast of Florida here. To give you an idea of what things are like, East Coast, west coast of Florida. So go Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm, the east side, mainly northeast people. Go to the west side, Tampa, really south of Tampa. Let's go Sarasota, Osprey, Venice, Naples, Fort Myers, Bonita Springs, and then you've got Cape Coral as well. All great retirement areas. Midwesterners, a lot of Midwesterners, a lot of Canadians moved from those locations. So that's the demographics of Florida. Different lifestyle from coast to coast. Ocean's a little different on the East Coast compared to the West Coast too. Both are beautiful, but there's differences, different nuances. Older population in Naples. Collier County has been the oldest county in the country. I think the average age was 78. That's going to come down drastically in the next census, with a lot of younger people like myself moving here. And there's a lot of young people that have moved here. I mean, a lot. So I wouldn't be shocked to see that number go from 78 to 72 or 71 on the next consensus, that much, because a lot of kids, schools are overflowing with kids. They're building new high schools, building new schools all over the place, new elementary school. First year we moved here where my daughter went. So things are going to change there. Arizona, I'm sure getting a little bit younger too, as some of the younger baby boomers move there. And same with the Carolinas. So you just want to avoid, now getting back to the real estate, where you want to invest, where you want to be, which markets. I could run through this list and almost just give you an idea from state to state why people are leaving or why people are moving to it. Maine also can be a retirement area. It's beautiful, especially in the summertime. A lot of times people have two homes and they maybe want to reside up in Maine for a good bit of the year. Great hiking. Water's cold, but great hiking, beautiful, change of seasons, not very long summer. So if you don't like summers, great place to go. Nevada, another zero income tax state going on here. Idaho, a lot of people moving from California. This is shifting now, right? Because a lot of people already migrated and this market is changing. And let's get into that market shifting. So this nice article in Forbes, again, this is from October, so take it with a grain of salt here because it is a little age, but the markets that are shifting and losing value already would be Seattle, Las Vegas, San Jose, San Diego, Sacramento, Denver, Colorado, Phoenix, Arizona, Oakland, California. Northport, Charlotte is an anomaly. I'll talk about that one in a minute. And Tacoma, Washington. So why did all these markets minus Northport, Charlotte all suffer decline? Has to do with the NASDAQ, as we talked about yesterday, with all those high-paying jobs, people losing them. So they can no longer afford to live in these markets where 800,000 is your average price or 775,000 is your average price. So they're selling and moving, migrating somewhere else. Silicon Valley got wiped out. I think next time you see this, you'll start to see Raleigh, North Carolina take a little bit of a decline, even though North Carolina is still on a move in a positive direction. But that market is also Silicon Valley, younger population. It won't be as bad though, because the home affordability there is still way more affordable than any of these other markets. It's still a new Silicon Valley, Raleigh, North Carolina. It's just where some of the younger people are going. The millennials are going there. Maybe some older Gen Zs are going there as well. Northport, and again, it talks about a little bit here that Redfin didn't take in the data from Hurricane Ian. Northport, Charlotte got hit really bad from the hurricane. And that is not a high income area. It's more of a working class area. And they got hit. People couldn't afford it. They couldn't afford to make the repairs. So you're selling at a discount. You're going to have temporary bursts there. I'm already seeing this market recovering, Northport. I'm struggling to find deals there. So, and I would get them if I could. I'm getting some in Port Charlotte, but not in Northport. So take that with a grain of salt and understand that's why that was affected there. If we go over to the housing overall here, just look at it. It's up. Median home price is up 1.3% year over year. That was in December. And again, go back to December 2021 when you look at data here. And interest rates are really low, in the lower threes. So now they're in the sixes, upper fives, lower sixes. I think 6.4 right here is the national average right now. If you look at what it was in December, it's a little lower than that now. And it still went up. Again, inventory, we talked about that yesterday, is a big factor. So stop the share here for a little bit. And just let's talk about that data and why things are happening the way they're happening. The market has shifted. Things are changing. And, unemployment's a factor in certain ones. And a looming recession in people's minds, which is why I'm a little more worried about later 2023, 2024, and 2025 in the real estate market, in all markets, but particularly in those hardest hit. You could see a 20% correction, 25, 30 short term in certain markets, real deep diving. New York, think California, think Las Vegas. As soon as unemployment really hits, Las Vegas gets hit really hard. So, what markets do you not want to be in? You don't want to be in a falling knife market. So, look at that data that I shared there and invest in those markets that are having increasing populations. And if you have things in those markets that are declining, you might want to think about moving those, selling that property. If you have made money on it, maybe do a 1031 exchange and roll it into a property where you're going to have more future growth. Because even after the recession, the places where people migrated to, are going to go up more than the ones with decreasing populations, obviously. What else is going to go up, though? Rental income is going to go up. In the declining markets, rental income is going to go down. And we're seeing that in both those markets. Despite the shortage of rentals in those markets that are starting to decline, despite the shortage of them, they're still not going up at the rate they are going up in other markets. And we need them stabilized because rent prices kind of just got out of control there, pandemic driven. But we'll see what goes on here with rentals in those markets compared to the hotter markets where people are migrating to, assuming we run into a recession. So those are things to keep your eyes on. Make sure you're investing in the right markets. Don't waste your time in those declining markets. It'll end up biting you in the butt long term. Yeah, they may recover 10, 15 years down the road, but you don't want to have something with negative equity for that long of a period of time. You want something that you have the flexibility to sell, still make some money on, or at least break even in comparison to losing money. Always better, right? Unless you need tax losses. Anyway, that's it. I just want to follow up off of yesterday's live. And I want to start doing a lot more of these. I do enjoy doing the lives and just getting into a deep dive into certain topics, which I'll keep doing, hopefully several times a week here. All right, guys, catch you on the next one.